Our first speaker today is Mr. Thachatat from Creagy Company Limited, and this company has been very important in terms of Thailand energy transition. They give consultancy to different government bodies and also different companies to help them transition toward the net zero. And yeah, without further ado, please give a loud applause to Mr. Thachatat, please.
And good afternoon, everyone. So first of all, I would like to thank you, Chulalongkorn University, for this opportunity to invite Creagy to take part in this event. So I think it's quite insightful session that we can discuss about the gap in Thailand. So first of all, I would like to discuss a little bit regarding our company. Creagy is actually a combination of two words. We have a Creagy and we have a energy. We have creative and we have energy. So basically, we are the Thai company who give the consultancy to different parties from the public sector. So we also take part in the climate change act drafting as well. And also we provide the consultancy or advisory to the private company, and also we do some the training regarding the climate change as well. So basically, what we do is dedicatedly on the climate change. And today, the topic that we are going to discuss would be about the policy instrument aiming to unlock the energy market. So we are going to start with the big picture about what is going on in Thailand, where we're heading at this moment, and how it's going to be the implication to the Thai energy sector, including all the companies who are in this sector. So this presentation is going to be around 20 minutes. We have 3 objectives today. So after this session, or basically after this workshop, what we like to achieve is that after you walk out of this room, 3 things that you should have in mind is about you understand about the Thailand climate change context, our target, our policy, our instrument. The second one would be about the specificity regarding the energy sector, how energy sector is going to play a role in the transition toward the net zero. And the last one is about the transition journey, about the company, how they are going to adapt themselves in order to follow the trend. So that's why we are going to divide the agenda into 3 parts. First of all, we're going to discuss about Thailand landscape on the climate change. Then we're going to talk about the energy sector and its implication, what are the driving force, where are we going, and the last one is about the transition journey. So hopefully we're going to finish this one by 20 minutes, and then we will have some room for the question and answer. So let's start with the first one, the Thailand climate landscape, where we're heading at this moment. So I believe that most of you in this room are already aware of our target regarding the climate change. So in terms of the climate change for Thailand, we have 2 big milestones. The first milestone is in the year 2050, around 25 years from now. This will be the time that we're going to reach what is so-called the carbon neutrality. So basically, if we have a look into the global scale, most of the economy in the world, they're going to reach the net zero by year 2050. For Thailand, it's a little bit different. So we are not going to be the net zero in terms of the greenhouse gas yet, but we are going to be neutrality in terms of the CO2. But we are going to reach the point of net zero, greenhouse gas net zero by the year of 2065. Another 15 years after the 2050, and along the way you can see that we have a lot of the milestone that we have to reach. Right now we are in the year of 2024 over here, and what people are talking a lot right now is about the Climate Change Act, because we are in the drafting process, and this act is going to be effective soon in the future. So this year we are expect that it's going to be proposed to the cabinet, and then there will be some of the process to pass through the parliament and so on before it's going to be the law. After we have this act already, we are going to use this act as an important instrument that we are going to drive Thailand toward the net zero. In the year 2030, this is the end end of the target for the NDC นะครับ we have to achieve 40% reduction of the greenhouse gas already นะครับ and in the year 2035 นะครับ around 10 years from now we have to have sufficient carbon sink for Thailand นะครับ for forestry around 120 million ton CO2 removal capacity นะครับ so how we going to reach that นะครับ after we have this kind of the milestone นะครับ so this is the picture that going to illustrate you on how we're going to reach those kind of the target นะครับ so if you can see this graph นะครับ is about the greenhouse gas emission นะครับ for Thai economy and different color meaning different sector นะครับ so few things that you can derive from this graph นะครับ the first one will be that right now we are still in the climbing at this moment นะครับ so unlike the developed economy that they are already in the downward trend นะครับ Thailand we are still climbing in terms of greenhouse gas emission นะครับ but next year นะครับ 2025 นะครับ we have to reach the peak already นะครับ meaning we have only 1 year นะครับ before we reach the peak of the greenhouse gas emission and after that we have to go toward the downward trend นะครับ and if you have a look into the different composition of this graph different color นะครับ the portion that play significant role นะครับ is the gold color นะครับ this block over here นะครับ this is what we came for this event นะครับ the future energy Asia or future mobility Asia นะครับ energy and transport sector นะครับ are within this color นะครับ so this is the sector that has to play significant role in terms of the reduction นะครับ so you can see that we start with the majority of the greenhouse gas come from this sector but at the end นะครับ this one will have only small portion นะครับ incomparable to other sector นะครับ and the last one will be that in the year of the 2065 นะครับ there will still some residual emission นะครับ in Thailand we are talking about 120 million ton of CO2 equivalent นะครับ this kind of the residual cannot be removed because of not availability of the technology and so on นะครับ so this portion has to be compensated นะครับ or be removed นะครับ with the same amount by the forestry นะครับ so three things that you can see from this graph นะครับ first one is that we have to reach the peak next year นะครับ then energy sector and the transport sector will be the key player to reduce greenhouse gas emission and at the end we do the forestry to remove carbon นะครับ this is the pathway in order to reach this kind of the transition นะครับ we have to transition our economy as well นะครับ this is the illustration from DCCE นะครับ Department of the Climate Change and Environment นะครับ that aim or have a visualize นะครับ that at the end of this process นะครับ after we in order to go to the net zero นะครับ we have to transform our economy นะครับ it's not just about separate sector do their own job but it's about the whole economy so what we would like to do is that we have to change from the red economy นะครับ or the gray economy that you can see on the left hand side นะครับ toward the green economy on the right hand side over there นะครับ and we do that by different mechanism นะครับ including the policy mechanism and the financial mechanism นะครับ so what we are talking right now is that we have to first greening the financing นะครับ meaning that the way we do the financing the way we do the budgeting has to be more green นะครับ we do the taxonomy to classify which kind of the activity in our economy is called the green and which one we call the red นะครับ and then we do the financing accordingly นะครับ the second one is that we have to financing the green นะครับ meaning that the all the economy all the activity over there นะครับ we have to put more money into that one นะครับ so this kind of the ecosystem would be that for the red economy นะครับ we bring some of the regulation นะครับ to enforce in those kind of the sector this is the stick one นะครับ in term of the measure นะครับ like the carbon tax like the emission trading system นะครับ that will make the emission to be you have to pay for every emission that you have to do นะครับ so basically this is the one side นะครับ but of course นะครับ for in terms of the government นะครับ they still have to inject some of the money into this sector as well นะครับ because this sector they have to transform นะครับ and there will be the people who affected by this kind of transition นะครับ sometimes the people lose their job because of the shutdown of power plant for example นะครับ so those kind of the thing we have to also put into the consideration as well นะครับ but when you have a look into the right hand side นะครับ this one is on another side that you have to bring in the incentive นะครับ in order to promote or encourage people to adopt the technology on the green side นะครับ and at the end นะครับ when this kind of thing working in practice นะครับ the green economy will grow and grow นะครับ and at the end you can use the conventional mechanism นะครับ like the corporate tax and income tax นะครับ to generate the income back to the government นะครับ this is the ecosystem that Thai government is looking for at this moment and they hope that with the introduction of the climate change act นะครับ this thing could be possible นะครับ so we talk a lot about the climate change act นะครับ so let's have a look a little bit นะครับ on how it entail นะครับ so this is an infographic that will give the summary นะครับ or the key point about climate change act that we are discussing at this moment so please take note about the big draft letter on the corner นะครับ this one is in the process of public hearing and proposing to the cabinet so it cannot be considered as a final but in our opinion นะครับ or basically in my opinion we think that the essence of this act would not be changed from this one นะครับ but maybe in detail นะครับ different division may have some amendment นะครับ from this one นะครับ but let's have a look นะครับ so this act they have a 14 division นะครับ and they have around 169 article นะครับ so the first article until the division 7 นะครับ this is mostly relate to Thai people นะครับ in general what are their right นะครับ what are the information they have to get in terms of the adaptation and also most of the article over here นะครับ is about the government นะครับ how they do the plan which kind of the committee they have to set up which kind of the funding and what is the source of the funding will go to this fund นะครับ but for the private company นะครับ maybe division 6 will relate a little bit นะครับ this is about mandatory reporting นะครับ some of the company นะครับ when they meet some of the certain criteria they have to do the mandatory reporting in terms of greenhouse gas emission นะครับ but when we have a look into the division 8 until division 14 นะครับ this one is directly relevant to private company นะครับ especially for the division 8 division 9 and division 10 นะครับ this is about the carbon pricing that we have in our legal system นะครับ the first one is about the emission trading system นะครับ we do the cap and trade in terms of the carbon emission นะครับ set the limit set the quota นะครับ and then let the company who play the role in this sector to trade their emission allowance on this segment นะครับ another one is the carbon tax นะครับ this one will be tax on the product or good that relate to the carbon emission นะครับ like the refrigerant after that after this act become effective นะครับ some of the product นะครับ that you bought will have some component of the carbon emission นะครับ that you will be taxed accordingly นะครับ like the petrol fuel or like the refrigerant นะครับ for example and we talk about the carbon credit as well นะครับ so this one is the carbon pricing that will play the role in the futures นะครับ so this is what we have right now นะครับ currently in our legislation document นะครับ the draft one นะครับ and this draft is going to be passed through different process before it come into the effect นะครับ so this is the first part is just to set the scene นะครับ about what are we talking about the climate นะครับ in terms of the landscape in Thailand นะครับ now we go to the second part นะครับ which is about the zoom into the energy sector นะครับ or specifically to the power sector นะครับ because we play quite significant role in the transition to the net zero นะครับ so in terms of this sector นะครับ where are we heading นะครับ when we talking about the energy sector นะครับ or the power sector everyone we will say that we are quite important นะครับ because in terms of the greenhouse gas emission we are the major emitter in the economy นะครับ we emit the most นะครับ so we have a significant role to play over here นะครับ and when we have look into the projection นะครับ or the outlook for the power sector นะครับ electricity sector นะครับ this sector will even play more significant role นะครับ into the futures นะครับ so we talk in the first part นะครับ that everyone will go to the net zero in the year 2050 นะครับ for the power sector the word net zero has to be even before นะครับ so right now we are talking about 3 times of the renewable energy that we have to put into the grid นะครับ by the year 2030 นะครับ and the important thing will be this spectrum over here นะครับ so we are talking that we will go to the net zero by the year 2050 but for the power sector นะครับ the spectrum for the net zero will be somewhere over here นะครับ so it means that when we compare to different sector นะครับ power sector has to move first นะครับ they have to reach the net zero even the year 2035 นะครับ some economy that are more difficult will have to reach the net zero by 2040 นะครับ like in China and globally power sector นะครับ all the generation in the world นะครับ has to be reached the net zero by the year 2045 นะครับ so why it's going to be like this นะครับ why the power sector has to move first นะครับ because we are the upstream for the emission for the other company นะครับ all the emission that happen in the power plant นะครับ in the grid it will be sold to นะครับ of all the company นะครับ so that's why electricity is kind of the enable sector นะครับ that will bring the net zero into the possibility นะครับ so that's why they have to move first นะครับ but it doesn't mean that this sector will we will gain only some benefit from this growth and this role นะครับ so there will be some of the physical risk transition risk as well นะครับ maybe let's talk first about the risk in terms of the physical นะครับ so electricity sector นะครับ energy sector like different other economy นะครับ they also subject to the physical risk from the climate change นะครับ and some of the effect or the impact already been aware of already นะครับ already been can be calculated right now นะครับ for example like the extreme weather นะครับ so the projection or the forecast from the IEA นะครับ they mention that in terms of the infrastructure that we have at this moment นะครับ the electricity grid or the power plant นะครับ or the refinery in the coastal area นะครับ 25% of the grid is subject to the risk from the cyclone or wind นะครับ so that might affect the operation into the future นะครับ similar to the power plant and the refinery that situate in the coastal area นะครับ it might have effect as well นะครับ and for the transition risk นะครับ this is everything that we talk about the regulation landscape นะครับ the introduction of the climate change act นะครับ or the pressure from the supply chain นะครับ or the shifting in demand นะครับ people start to use the green product นะครับ people start to use the electric vehicle นะครับ and also the trend about the electrification as well นะครับ that people start to move from the fossil fuel นะครับ from the other kind of the fuel นะครับ toward use of electricity นะครับ this is the electrification trend that will happen in this sector as well นะครับ all this one will go to the transition risk for this sector as well นะครับ but of course in terms of the risk it also come with the opportunity as well นะครับ so for the energy sector นะครับ we are talking about the new business model นะครับ new way to do the business new way to do utilize of the technologies นะครับ and new way to access to the capital for the investment นะครับ for the development of the new business นะครับ over here we are discussing about the introduction of the new technologies นะครับ that already available into the market นะครับ so we are not going to talk about the lot of technology nowadays นะครับ but that might be come into the different sector later on นะครับ but over here we just would like to give the overview about how we're going to assess those kind of technologies นะครับ and which kind of the support in terms of financial that we can use to foster technology development นะครับ so here we are talking about the different stage of the technologies นะครับ some of the technology are in the R&D phase นะครับ some of them are in the pilot phase นะครับ but some of them already commercialized นะครับ and what we thought is that there are different kind of the instrument นะครับ that we can use depending on the maturity level of the technologies นะครับ so if you have a look into this graph นะครับ for the technologies that are in the pre-feasibility stage นะครับ of course the risk in terms of the technology risk is very high นะครับ and the knowledge that we have on those kind of technology is very low นะครับ so you need certain kind of the instrument for that portion นะครับ like grant นะครับ R&D support for example นะครับ but as we move along to the commercial stage นะครับ we are get more knowledge in terms of the technologies นะครับ and the risk is going to be lower and lower นะครับ and at some part นะครับ people like from the private bank นะครับ can play a role to support those kind of the project development นะครับ so there would be both from the public finance and private finance นะครับ that come into the picture นะครับ the key point would be that which kind of the instrument are suitable for different technology in different phase นะครับ okay and I would like to move to the last part นะครับ which is about the transition journey นะครับ to the net zero นะครับ this is not only for the energy company but also for any company นะครับ that are in the economy นะครับ so a lot of the people start with the question that how we going to start the journey นะครับ to the net zero where do we what we have to do นะครับ if we start today นะครับ so over here we would like to give some of the framework นะครับ that we can think of นะครับ in terms of the transition toward the net zero นะครับ so the first key takeaway would be that the climate change นะครับ is not only the dedicate or the separate strategy that we can do right now นะครับ it has to be integrate นะครับ with the risk management and also with the growth strategy นะครับ in the previous slide นะครับ we talk about the risk and opportunity นะครับ so the risk will come to the risk management side นะครับ and also the opportunity นะครับ it might related to the growth strategy นะครับ how we going to develop new and innovative business model นะครับ so in the future or even right now นะครับ the climate strategy has to be integrated in both risk management and growth strategy นะครับ in order to achieve this picture นะครับ so the journey of the usual company นะครับ would be something like this นะครับ that they emit greenhouse gas นะครับ and one day they have to reach the peak นะครับ similar to Thailand นะครับ that we have to reach the peak next year นะครับ and after that we're going to go to the downward journey นะครับ over here นะครับ through the mitigation measure energy efficiency renewable energy and so on นะครับ and at some point นะครับ during the midway over here the company can start to think about maybe we become a carbon neutrality first นะครับ by offset our emission นะครับ with the carbon credit and so on นะครับ and after that the residual emission will be compensate or to be removed by the forestry project or CCUS project นะครับ for example and along the way นะครับ we thought that the company will gain more resilient นะครับ toward the climate risk นะครับ and that's why the process might look like this one นะครับ it has to be a circle นะครับ it has to be iterative process นะครับ and this circle has to be continuous one นะครับ and actually from our perspective it doesn't matter that you have to follow 1 to 8 every step นะครับ maybe the first round นะครับ you start with 1 3 5 for example นะครับ but as long as you go to the next and next step นะครับ we expect that company will gain more competency in terms of the climate change adaptation นะครับ so in the second step in the third step maybe you reach all of the 8 step นะครับ and become more and more resilient to the climate risk and opportunity นะครับ so what does we have for this 8 step นะครับ the first one is of course นะครับ we have to know our own emission นะครับ this is about how we going to assess ourselves นะครับ in terms of greenhouse gas emission basically greenhouse gas inventory greenhouse gas accounting will play the role over here นะครับ in the step 1 step 2 we have to link those kind of things to our strategy นะครับ we discussed in the previous slide that it's not about the standalone นะครับ climate change is not a standalone strategy but it has to be linked with the growth or the risk management strategy นะครับ this is where we're going to connect those together นะครับ and it become to the step 3 นะครับ we assess the risk and opportunity นะครับ that we face right now นะครับ as a company the fourth one will be that we have to set the key indicator นะครับ target and metric to track our progress นะครับ Step 5 will be to design our strategy นะครับ which kind of the instrument which kind of the technology we can utilize to reduce our greenhouse gas emission and to make ourselves more adaptable to the climate risk นะครับ The sixth one will be that we have to engage more stakeholder นะครับ because in terms of the greenhouse gas emission we are not talking about the scope 1 and scope 2 only นะครับ we are talking about the scope 3 as well นะครับ and scope 3 will go beyond our boundary นะครับ it go to our supply chain go to our vendor go to our customer as well นะครับ so we cannot do the net zero alone นะครับ as a company นะครับ we have to engage with the whole supply chain and number 7 we just act according to what we plan นะครับ and step 8 maybe we can do the disclosure as well along the way นะครับ to prove that we are serious about this one and also this could link to the reputation and everything นะครับ that we do to the planet นะครับ so I hope that this one will be gives you some framework นะครับ about how we're going to adapt to the climate change นะครับ and how we're going to do the transition journey toward the net zero นะครับ so start with the big picture นะครับ and then go to the individual level นะครับ so to close my presentation นะครับ I just would like to put some key takeaway นะครับ one more time นะครับ so there are 5 things นะครับ that we would like you to remember from this session นะครับ the first one is that for Thailand นะครับ we are talking about two milestones นะครับ 2050 2065 นะครับ and we have a lot of mechanism นะครับ but the most important that we are talking at this moment is about the climate change act นะครับ some of them we talking about the climate carbon pricing นะครับ and other mechanism the second one is that energy sector play very crucial role นะครับ so in Thai picture toward the net zero นะครับ we see that the graph on the gold color นะครับ the energy sector transport sector we have to reduce significantly นะครับ in order to reach the net zero นะครับ so that bring the energy sector power sector to the risk and opportunity นะครับ both in terms of the physical risk and from the transition risk นะครับ but of course we have some opportunity to utilize as well นะครับ and lastly นะครับ as a company นะครับ as a organization นะครับ in order to go to the net zero we are talking about net X step นะครับ to transition toward the net zero นะครับ so I hope you get some of the information from this session นะครับ and hope that it can be linked to the subsequent speaker นะครับ which will give you quite interesting topic later on นะครับ about biophysics นะครับ and also for the AI for the transition journey and also for the financing aspect นะครับ so thank you very much ครับ and if you have any question please feel free to raise it นะครับ
Thank you very much, Mr. Thachatat. If you have any questions, so please feel free.
Hi, my name is Savani from Bacon, Kenzie. I have one question. When you mentioned about the government support under the Climate Change Act, can you clarify more on what kind of support that the government should provide to the private sector?
Okay ครับ so thank you for the question ครับ I think this quite a good one นะครับ so actually if we have a look into the climate change draft act นะครับ so most of the measure that put over there majority will be on the stick side นะครับ that we enforce the economy to emit less emission and penalty or tax people accordingly นะครับ but on the another side นะครับ like for the emission trading system นะครับ so this one will let's say that we will have both people who get penalized by that นะครับ and people who can sell the remaining allowance that they are not used according to the quota that they get นะครับ so some people will benefit from the emission trading system over there นะครับ and part of the system would be that for all of the processing fee or everything that happen during the emission trading system นะครับ it's going to be channel นะครับ to the climate change fund over here นะครับ so this is the source of the money that will go to the fund and one of the division over here นะครับ division number 12 นะครับ this one will it doesn't say specifically yet at this moment นะครับ it has to be defined in the subsequent legislative like the ministry regulation and so on นะครับ but basically the idea would be that we use the money that happen from the emission trading system นะครับ or the carbon tax and then we define the way that how the government to can use this kind of funding to support the new project นะครับ maybe the project that still has a lot of the risk and then they can do the financing over there นะครับ
Any other questions? Can have some more. Yeah.
We all agree that the power sector is the main actors, but can you give us some scenario or portfolio of the power in you said that in 2050, right? The power sector have to be net zero. Yes, that okay. Yes. What shall be the scenario of the power generators in the world at that time? It's all renewable or it's still gas turbine is still there, and how could the who could be the main investor on that? Yes.
Okay ครับ so thank you for the question นะครับ I think this is a quite interesting question นะครับ and quite challenging one นะครับ so maybe let me try to answer this question from this perspective นะครับ that maybe when we have a look into this picture นะครับ this one is about the scenario that IEA developed นะครับ this one doesn't take into big consideration yet on the challenge in practice นะครับ so basically this one is the economic model that they generate first นะครับ about what are the most efficient way นะครับ to reach the net zero นะครับ so of course from this picture it's going to be heavily as you mentioned นะครับ regarding the renewable energy this one has to be the majority part นะครับ like the 3/4 of the renewable energy has to be in the system and even bigger นะครับ into the futures and also the second part would be another field as well นะครับ so if we have a look into different scenario that they do the forecast นะครับ everyone talk about the nuclear energy นะครับ because this one is I think right now everyone agree that there's no alternative นะครับ renewable energy alone might not be sufficient นะครับ to reach us to the net zero นะครับ so nuclear has to play some part as well นะครับ and at the end we are talking about the CCS everything that might be come into the end นะครับ but of course when we put everything into the practice นะครับ this one is the scenario that we put for the forecast นะครับ but when we are talking about the how we going to do this one in reality นะครับ so I think there's a lot of challenge along the way นะครับ because energy transition cannot be happen just by increase renewable energy alone นะครับ so the whole infrastructure has to be accommodate those kind of the fluctuation and everything that happen intermittency from the renewable energy as well นะครับ so the expansion of the renewable energy into the pot นะครับ I think it had to be associated with the reinforcement of our existing grid นะครับ making it more smarter with more technologies and the more way we do the business in terms of the power sector as well ครับ
Probably following up the law, the new regulations, is it applied to the power generation authority as well or not? But why not? What do you think that our electricity generation authority of Thailand or EGAT will have to pay carbon tax or not? That's what.
I think for power sector นะครับ when we mapping out with what we have in the climate change act over here นะครับ so in general if we compare to the example from different country like from the European Union นะครับ I think power generation will be on this side นะครับ the ETS นะครับ emission trading system นะครับ so there might be cap for the quota that they can emit to the atmosphere นะครับ but in Thai context it might be a little bit how to say it might a little bit complicated นะครับ because the power generation in Thailand they cannot dispatch as they want นะครับ they have to I mean if I have I'm a private sector นะครับ who produce electricity นะครับ I cannot dictate when I can generate electricity นะครับ because we are not the electricity market yet we have to follow the instruction or the dispatch from the EGAT นะครับ so there's still some discussion that electricity sector could be in the ETS or not นะครับ because they don't have a choice when they be order to dispatch they have to generate electricity and basically it doesn't work in the way that if we have the pure market for the electricity นะครับ in other countries.
Please join me to thank Mr. Thachatat once again. Thank you.
Thank you very much ครับ
All right. If you have further questions, please feel free to exchange name card and contact him later on. Next, let's switch some gear. So we're going to be hearing. Now we hear the big picture about the regulation, the government agencies, and next we will try to bring you back to the more human-centric approach. So without further ado, let's welcome Professor Arya from the Architecture Department of Chulalongkorn University.
Good morning. สวัสดีค่ะ First of all, I would like to expand the problem to be unlocked more difficultly. We start with net zero, but I think we have some other thing to unlock in able to fight with the climate change, especially in the next. Okay, sorry. Especially about the sustainability and sustainable development. as a landscape architect and planner, I would like to talk about first. Actually, this slide I already talked in about 1 hour. So this time I changed the style I'm going to talk. So I would like to introduce what kind of thing we have to unlock in order to reach the Sustainable Development Goals. And then I will conclude and go backward that I would like to recommend biophilics development. So I would like to explain a little bit about the biophilics development, what it is. Maybe somebody have never heard of that. And the next one is about ontological landscape. Ontological landscape is something dynamic, and I would like to explain to you, both Thai and foreigner, because ontological mean something in psychological science, in philosophy science, and in other things. But about the climate change, about the sustainability, there is something. And I would like to, again, focus and emphasize about the SDG. The other thing is I will try to conclude very roughly about the example of the interlinkage between each goal of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And I would like to explain about the difficulty of the original approach that we need to do the paradigm shift from the Anthropocene into the biophilics, that related also to economics versus ecology. And I explain about some example of ontological landscape, and I try my best to explain about the biophilics development model. So what to be unlocked? You already unlocked about the net zero from the first speaker, Khun Men. And so the larger question was about the SDG. There are even more than only net zero about the energy sector, but in order to be sustainable city, we have to reach 17 goal. And how to understand about the new term ontological landscape, especially in our city, tropical city like Thailand, and what can create and what are the steps that we can do the paradigm shift from Anthropocenic to the biophilics thing. First, the 17, what are the 17? I think you can Google and you know what are they. And about the ontological, from dictionaries, it means the existence, and the phenomenological, it means in Thai, it's ปรากฏการณ์ So they are dynamic and very different from each area, each city, each time, in each season, in annually and maybe yearly, and monthly. And what are the biophilics? Biophilics came from the word biophilia. Biophilia is bio is the living thing, and philia is love. So this type of approach is totally opposite of the Anthropocene because of, I think the slide will be in the next one. And this one is what I would like to talk about the positive approach and negative approach of each others of the this is positive approach, the green thing, and this is the negative approach. For example, you are interested in energy sector. This is create the positive approach with climate action and to industrial and innovation infrastructure. But number 7, create a negative approach to poverty because it spend a lot of money. And the other thing like this, so in order to reach the sustainable development goal, if you focus in one thing, for example, we came from energy sector, so we focus on the clean energy. So what happened? The other sustainable goal will be, yes. And what are the successful of the sustainable development goal? Not very successful. This chart from the UN showing that, for example, number 7, you have done a very good job. But the red one means regression. The number 7, the green one is on track. The yellow one is fair progress. So it means some of them, for example, number 16, insufficient data. Nobody produced that kind of thing. Maybe it's not that interesting. So it's very difficult in order to reach that. Somebody try to explain and try to create some action. I think you can take that slide. And what are the Anthropocene? Something that can balance in a sustainable way. In the old day, we used this sustainable development stool, like a chair, like a bar stool. Each leg have to be equal, and it's not possible. Now we create a tripod. Tripod means something like that. The cameraman have the tripod, so he can adjust. One leg can be larger than the others, but it has to be sustainable. This is the main thing about the sustainable. And what are the economic and the ecology? Economic means something that you are on the top of the pyramid. And the ecology means you are among them. And what is the ecology? So if you're concerned about your money, about your income in your country, so you try to do many things, and then you care about the nature so little. So something that biophysics would like to introduce is you can care with the nature, care with your environment. And what are the ontological landscape? It's something very dynamic. And especially Thai culture, the traditional Thai house, they have rain harvesting to collect water. They have a very nice adaptive and resilient kind of structure underneath the house. In the dry season, they can utilize their living room, and they can have like chicken, duck, and then they can collect egg in the morning. And the flow, the weather, the cantilever of the roof is very good for rain, very strong rain, and also the wind, the very steep slope of the roof. And we also live by the water, and we can have like a irrigation canal. We don't need the Department of Irrigation. And this another thing is more new approach and development. This is our Chulalongkorn University Centenary Park, the World Award winning of the park, in especially UN President also came to Chulalongkorn to visit this project. So the landscape architects here calculate the amount of water using the 100-year return period. If you are the engineer, you know how to calculate the return period of the water, and then you can make a very nice drainage channel. But actually, this park collect water in the rainy season, but in the dry season or in the like a 5-year return period with very less rain, they use that for open few amphitheaters and also some other greeneries. So 100 years, what happened? It's related to the name of the park also, because we celebrate our 100 years old of Chulalongkorn University at the Centenary Park. And what are the other ontological landscape? The urban heat island. We have a very big controversy about the albedo, you know. The albedo is something that reflects the heat from any kind of surface, focusing on the color. I try to produce. You have seen this before, so I don't explain. But you know, in our NASA map from the satellite view, so you can see that if you pick each color, you will find different kind of color. So each kind of landscape create different degree of albedo. And what we are doing, we do some experiment in our department, landscape architecture, about the sky factor, because from this thing, you understand that the greenhouse gas and the albedo from the heat island came from the cloud and the sky, and also the different texture of the cloud cover. So we try to make the good thermal comfort for each design, especially in our Chulalongkorn University, and this is myself. So we have different, feeling and reaction between the climate. What are the comfort zone for us? We are different from, this is the chart of the comfort humidity from the US. So this says 40 and 60 relative humidity is ideal humidity. You know, this one is not possible in Thailand, in our tropical country. So they said, like this land in Thailand, so they said this one is create a lot of fungi, mice, virus, and bacteria. So what we going to do with that? About the conclusion, I would like to show you my student work that got also the award from the Council of Architects thesis. This is what landscape architect doing. They try to support the PTTGC, global chemical, in order to do this tree site development, in order to do the net zero for the site, and how the landscape can deal with that. Finally, they have this. Not only there are 3 points that PTTGC, our case study, would like to do. First one is about the compensation, like plant the more tree. The second one is the portfolio driven, how to invent some good thing. And the third one is the community, sorry, about the community, like community enhancing, make some activity for the community. This site redevelop the whole, everything, the 3 string together. This is carbon capture. This is carbon gas pipeline. And this is compensation zone, to explain some others about the reforestation, how the tree capture the carbon. And this is the final conclusion, that how this area compensate and offset the carbon. The concept is nest. Nest is like a bird nest. Okay, this is only an example. So what are the others? So I just got that National Research Council of Thailand fellowship. This called Research Professor Grant from this year, starting last week until the next following 3 years. I will do some call for participation of those who are interested in the biophysics development together with our team. And this is what we make the mind map to present to the National Research Council of Thailand. So we try to reach that well-being, good environment, and human ecology. And we start with the problem in Thailand here, that we have many things that people are excluded, not responsive to the dynamic of the nature. The environment are deteriorated, and very high investment in every development. And we are 4 categories that I would like to invite any of you, especially the corporate and institute, that you meet that kind of thing category. So let's take action, and I'm looking forward to push our city to one of the biophilic cities. There are many cities in the world, including Singapore, to be the biophilic city already. And this is some kind of the participation that many people have to consider about we call IAP2. In Thailand, we only here. But in terms of environment, we only inform them. So this is the government, or this is the institute, and they just inform the community like this. It's one way that we inform them how to do this thing, we teach them. But actually, the second degree of participation should be consult. It means the community should go back another way to us, or even it's better to be involved and collaborate with each stakeholder, because this forum is stakeholder forum. So the best thing that we would like to achieve is the empower. So we're looking forward to that. ขอบคุณค่ะ This is my, I'm going to put my PowerPoint and probably the video in this website also.
Thank you, Professor Arya, for a very nice talk. Anybody has any questions? We have around 5 minutes.
It's not too fast, right? This slide, the same, exactly the same slide without the video. I talk in 1 hour.
Yeah.
Usually human is on the top of pyramid, right? As you mentioned, and you say that we should blend into the ecosystem, the ecology. How could we empowering our partners, other species, not human? Can human think on behalf of them? We call them, right? Not it. Right? Can human change our behavior and think on behalf of all the stakeholders on the right-hand side? And
but,
that, I think, before we can blend in, we need to know what they are thinking and several things. I'm not sure, because it's our behavior that we are always on the top of the pyramid. Mm-hmm. We have to go back probably in the ancient
I think the top of the pyramid is our common habit. I mean, everybody would like to look into ourselves first. We have also to understand the pyramid of the Maslow, and everybody would like to have the average people. I mean, many people would like to serve themselves, and then family, And then if they accomplish already, they have a very lovely family like you, and then they have a very nice community like we are in Chulalongkorn University. So we have to go to the next step to the others, like to our country, and even to the top of the pyramid of the Maslow, to be more. We have to target for like this one sustainable development goal. So we have to. I don't think being the top of pyramid in terms of the ego thing is different, but we have to provide something that is better for us, it's better to the family, it's better to the environment, also to our country. So ourselves still be the same, but we think about the others more.
Any other questions?
It's different from the other approach. Like if we are the conservationists or we are NGO, like environmental NGO, maybe we refuse to do any kind of development because we want to protect the nature. That one, they're not in this ecology. They are conservationists. But what the biophilic is, we are together with the nature.
Would you please turn your slide to the page, the linkage between the SDG goal,
Albedo.
positive, yeah, that's this one. This
Sorry, different. Albedo. Yeah, this one.
no, not.
SCG one that has
Negative and positive, the SDG
SDG.
goal, right?
Yeah,
This one. You see this interlinkage of positive and negative in terms of biophilic, that you say? Or
This one is not by myself. It's from somebody. I already put the reference in the picture, but sorry, maybe it's not appear.
Because I think that the 17 SDG goals is very useful, but when you linkage negative, that I feel
No,
confused,
it's not
so I have to
mean
explain to my team.
negative by the goal. But when you implement, for example, when you implement this one, it means you produce, for example, you produce the EV car.
Yeah.
So the EV car is not affordable by the no poverty, because the no poverty, it means maybe sufficient economy. So you have to spend very carefully in order to make yourself stable, not to rent the car, not to do the finance the car. So this one, and EV car is a little bit expensive with the technology. So this one not have negative impact to this. This is the meaning of that. It not mean SDG goal is not good, but it have to we have to think about the positive and negative interlinkage with each other. So usually for example, ourselves, we think about the infrastructure, the building, and maybe some people talk about the climate action, and the climate action is very large. And when we talk about that, it affects to the others, for example.
So I think that it's very useful for me that I link to your presentation about how to reach net zero in 8 steps. The negative, we can use it as a risk management, right? Risk management at that. Okay, thank you.
Right. I guess it's time to go to the next speakers. Let's give one more round of applause to Professor Ariya, please. So again, if you have any questions or interested in to know more about biophysicism, please feel free to search online or reach out to Professor Arya. Next up, we have the. Next up, we will shift some gear toward the education and AI and how it will affect our energy transition. So please welcome Professor Supot, the Dean of the Faculty of Engineering at Chulalongkorn University.
Thank you. Probably will change a little bit the environment to the education. I probably not really go deep into what it AI in energy transition. I myself am Dean of Faculty of Engineering, Chulalongkorn University. At the same time, I also a chairman for Thai Oil Public Company and the GPSC's public company as well. In fact, I involved in education and energy company in Thailand. But anyway, today probably will have the main hat of education. We're talking about how generative AI, in fact, probably AI itself will have some effect or some influence on the education, because education is the main purpose for the human resource development and what will be the change from now on. If we talk about AI, I think many people know AI for so many 10 years, right? But it sudden increase in it's influential in this few month, right? Probably from last year that the ChatGPT has been coming out, and we found that the AI have played a lot of influential role in several aspects. For private company, I think it helps a lot in increased efficiency and productivity. But in education, also we have a lot of effect from that generative AI. For example, at our faculty, in the past, our students write thesis in Thai. Usually, if not compulsory, they will not write thesis in English. But last semester, about 80% of the thesis in our faculty are written in English. We don't need to think because it's easy, because the generative AI in Thai language is still not strong enough, right? They still have some sentence that not very proper, but in English it's perfect. So right now, most of the theses in our university are written in English, but probably in just a few years from now, if Thai generative AI become stronger enough, it will change again, right? It will change written in Thai. In the past, we need to spend a lot of money because before we publish a paper, right? We send the paper to international journal. We need some native speaker to check our English. But right now, that service has been outdated. Right? We don't need to spend that money anymore. So this is very important, right? Not only for, I think it's AI, it's very a threat for university. We have to change our model and we have to change our business model. In the past, if we're talking about university, we never be threatening or never thinking of disrupting the university. But with AI, with the emerging of especially the generative AI, and in a few years from now, there will be a term called general generative AI, which will combine generative AI with predictive AI. If they can combine at some time in the future, probably we have to think what we can do from now on. Right now, people keep saying that probably something that human can do. For example, design thinking of you have conceptually or doing some critical thinking that AI cannot do. But we cannot sure that when this will belong to human. Right? So at this moment, we have to prepare a lot of things. Right? Not moving. I use this. Okay. Sorry, this is in Thai, right? If I translate, Thai people can translate, right? I translate to you. You can complete your PhD definitely, surely, right? The cost is here, right? 19,000 baht, right? They guarantee that you can get your PhD degree using AI, right? I accessed the website and so thing and found that they're really great. They're not just doing the thesis for you, but they teach how to use AI if you from generating the topics of your thesis, generating how to make a literature review and several things. Right? So this is the reason why I think that AI will disrupt a university if we are not really change ourselves, as well as a lot of jobs in the industry, not only energy sector. I think financial or architecture. I think every field of our human professional will be on the edge of disruption by this AI in the very near future. But before that, I think education, university probably find the real threat from the emerging of the AI itself, right? And not only this, right? Right now, we don't know how to teach software programming, right? In the past, in our faculty, the software programming, the learning of the, right now we're learning Python or some Java or anything. We teach them how to write the software, the code, the computer coding. But right now, we don't need to teach them anymore, right? Because AI can teach them. If you give a homework and ask them to write some coding on some specific task, they can use the AI to write the coding. So we have to change the model of learning on this computer programming. One thing that will affect the energy or refinery or any industry, we use a lot of optimization, right? We use a lot of optimization in refinery or in factory, but at that we need to learn linear programming, right? A lot of linear programming. But right now there are a lot of software that you don't need to learn, you don't need to do linear programming, but you can coding the linear programming. You can find out optimization using the predictive AI as well. Even right now, the generative AI can provide you the coding for optimization as well. And a lot of subject will be gone from now on. It can combine everything, right? You can combine, you can produce your PowerPoint, you can produce everything, right, from this generative AI. In the morning, I just have lectures at, not lecture, we conclude a project in BMA. And all of the PowerPoint we use the PowerPoint and all the voice, right? We make a video clip, and that has been now narrated by an AI sound. And just recently, if you are in Thailand, our new channel called Nation has been using an AI reporter, right? They use AI for report everything. So that is the thing that we think that there will be a lot of challenging, right? Some company, for example, PTT right now, they have integrated the Copilot, right? They've spent a lot of money, right? They use Copilot integrated with Microsoft, right? So they can just one command, you can create everything. I script through that, right? I think if you come from McKinsey, McKinsey put everything that they have done, all the report that they have done into, they call Lily. Lily is a AI that they put every report that they have done in the past into this AI. And I talked to McKinsey, someone from McKinsey, they said that right now if you ask them to doing some research, they can give you the first draft in just a few days, right, using Lily. The first draft, that definitely they'll have to do something after that. It's just the topics and everything, they can give you the first draft of that topic that you want in just a few days, right? And after that, they can refine the report and everything, right? So Lily will be very powerful. The same thing, right? In the past, when we have to write the paper, the most difficult part is the literature review, right? Students have to read a lot of paper, a lot of publication, and then make a conclusion. But right now, they can just put all the paper into the ChatGPT or any generative AI, and then they give you the literature review. Not in the past. Right now, at university, if we usually ask a professor to write a review article regarding some topics, because this kind of review article got a lot of citation, right? Because people want to know what is the state of the art of these topics. But right now, the AI can give you that review article very quickly and very fast, and that's the thing that changing a lot. And not only university, I believe that all the private company also encounter that, right? We used to work with the company. They need a lot of database. They need a lot of information from our university. We subscribe a lot of publications from all over the world, right? And we used to have normal project with them, trying to find the state of the art of something that in the interest of the company. But right now they can do it by themselves, right? They can do it by themselves. So a university have to change a lot, right? In the past, sorry that it a little bit in Thai, right? A professor, they know a lot, right? So that's why we have to classroom at school. We need to have professor. We have to have student. But the new university, probably the knowledge has been distributed out, has been going out. A few years ago, we were afraid of Coursera. I think you have ever heard about that. The Coursera or Khan Academy, or even some private company have their own platform for learning, right? But that like Graph or Airbnb, right? They still need some physically, right? If you call a cab, you still need to have a car. You still need to have a taxi that run on the road. Or Airbnb, you need you have infrastructure. You have hotel. You have a room that available. Then Airbnb can be a middleman and find something for you. Similarly, university, the model of university are very similar, right? We are then we are the one who have everything, right? So you need to come to us. Coursera, the platform, the online learning platform are coming like Airbnb. They still need university at that time. They still need us. If you go into Coursera or Khan Academy or edX, you'll find a lot of coursework from university, from either MIT, Berkeley, or Virginia Tech, or any university. Even Chulalongkorn University has some coursework, has some program on that platform, right? But with AI that slowly emerging, and they have been iterated into this model a lot, right? We found that physically we change to virtual platform right now, and the knowledge are not. We don't need physical anymore, right? Knowledge are shipping in onto the virtual platform. The knowledge from professor also shipping to AI. So university has been on the edge of disruption right now. Right. So what we have to do is, I think that for the whole business, for the whole world, we need to, that with the exiting of AI, they combined everything, right? Database, right? The data, the information has been combined here. We combine text, we combine image, drawing, graphic, software, video, and several things, right? We combine, right now, if they can combine, we believe that ideas still belong to human being, but we don't know how long will it belong to us, right? It will be probably this few years, maybe, but in the future, if they really develop that, idea might be gone, might be belong to AI as well. Designs, right? Equipment, right? But we don't know when this will be distribute, will be go away from our control, right? But anyway, right now, I think in this few years, this 10 years, ideas is still with us. Design is still with us, right? Equipment is still with us. But all of these things that we're doing, right? Especially the database, software, hardware is still probably something on equipment is still, they're already combined together, right? Once it's combined, all the work over here, right? Professor Aliyah from architectures, right? The idea design is here, but the drawing, graphic, text, image, they're all combined together. In the past, if we have some text, right? And we want to make it to be a slide presentation, we still need a lot of effort to do that. But right now, if you have some text, right, you can convert it into a slide presentation just on your fingers, right? And what we need a lot is this ethics, right? Ethic on AI or ethic for human beings, right? And what we try, our university, what we have to do is we have to try to maintain these three things, right? Ideas, designs, equipment, some infrastructure that still needs. And the most important that we need to implement into our human resource from now on is ethics as well, right? Because all of this, in the past, you have to learn how to produce a sound, how to change the image to be text, right? How to interpret the text, the image and text, right? But right now, they're all combined together, right? So we have to give a student that you learn how to combine this thing using the available equipment that is the generative AI. So what the university have to do right now in order to provide human resource for industry or for the world is we have to shape ourselves to be a project-based, right? We're not teaching anymore. The teaching will be reduced, right? We will not further giving lectures. In the past, almost 90% or 80% in the university are giving lectures, right? So right now, we at our faculty, we reduce that lectures into almost half, right? In the past, if you come from university, our 3 credit, we're just talking about that subject for 3 hours a week, right? But right now, we reduce it some curriculum, for example, the robotics and AI curriculum, we just give lecture for 1 hour, and the rest 2 hours, we allow students to work on their project, right, and assignment, right? A second thing is modular-based learning, right? Because our aging society and people have to reskill and upskill them a lot, right? So we have to change our curriculum. In the past, we learned from first year. If you are a first year student, we force you to learn some subject, right? On second year, you learn some more subject. On third year and fourth year, you go to advanced. But right now, I think they're all combined, right? We on the verge of canceling the prerequisite anymore. You don't need to learn 1, 2, 3, 4 anymore. Right? You can learn anything. Right? And the curriculum has been changing that each curriculum have to have 4 or 5 modular inside. Right? So students can have their own journey. Right? And also the people from private company or from industry can come back and learn some specific modular by themselves. And finally, personalized. That's very important. Right? In the past, not in the past, even right now, right, we force students to learn what we want to teach, right? What we think that the best for you, right? We think on their behalf. But students right now, they change a lot, right? They're not the same as when we were young, right? Some people here are still young, but when we were young, we don't know. We never know the world, right? So we have to learn what teacher or what university think that is the best for us. But right now, there are no boundary anymore. They know everything. They know more than professor even. Right? So they know what they want to be, what he want to be, what he or she want to be. So we need to be very personalized, right? So learning to creating the job, right? Not learning to work, to be a worker in industry. So the main competency is to creating job, right? You have to learn to be experiment. A world from now on is the experiment world, right? Not the world that you're doing something, developing on the top, but you need to be experimental and to be innovation. And people are nomad, right? They're not work for a company for very long time. Right? They will change for the whole server job in their life. And this is a thing that I think the campus of the university, especially at Chulalongkorn University, we try to move forward that. At our faculty, we slowly change a lot. We do something that very opposite to what people expected. For example, in the past, it already passed. Right? We learned about 150 credit. Right? So one student, you can't do anything. You have to learn only, right? In 4 years. But right now, we reduce the number of credit that we require for graduation to about 100, 120, 125, something like that. So that students have more room that they can move toward their own interest. Right? And that is the thing that I think will be very important. Definitely, this is not very related to energy transition, but it transition in human resource, right? In order that probably this will be the new kind of generation that will work for the private company from now on, right? So the required skill from now on, I think, what we need to have is we have to provide them for next pandemic, right? Nobody knows. We don't know what will happen, right? But UN has been reported that if we have pandemic coming again, we are not ready again, right? So right now we have to prepare people for the next pandemic. AI have to be coming, right? This is very important. We have to think. We have to provide them with the concept of climate change. Right now, if we want to go through the sustainability definitely very difficult because it's opposite to human being. Right? We want comfortability. Right? Human being want comfortability. We want abundance of things. Right? We need a lot of food in our refrigerator. Right? Even it will spoil. Right? But we want comfortability. But to be sustained, to be probably net zero in the future, we need to go opposite our comfortability. Right? So we need to prepare them. geopolitics, very important, right? Aging society. In Thailand, we will have in about 40 to 50 years from now, we will have people of, right now we have 65 million, but about 40 years from now, our population will reduce to about 30 million people. We have to prepare for that, right? The whole world will moving toward that, except some countries, right? Japan will move that way as well, right? And what will be doing with our infrastructure that we prepare for 60 million people, right? For 30 million people, how can we have enough money to maintain that infrastructure? And resilience, right? So this is the required skill that we have to give to the new generation or even the current generation in order to survive the future, right? So what we have to give the student, I think very important is we have to have, as I mentioned, I still believe that idea, designs, and the equipment or infrastructure is still with human being, right? We still have no robot that can build a lot by themselves, right? So anyway, concepts have to be implemented to them, right? They have to have a very clear visionary. They have to be a thinker, right? Students have to be that, and they have to have capabilities on what they want to do, right? They have knowledge, skill, and ethics. And finally, we have to give them the culture, right? They have to have some culture in order to cope with this world. There probably are changing in the world, threatening what we have to do, right? Either climate change, we have a strong visionary that you have to cope with that, right? You have to be resilient, and what culture that they should have, right? In order to fostering the growth of, so people have to have concept, capability, and culture. And this is probably my last slide here, right? We try to nurture new generation in order that they can cope with a few phenomena that will be threatening the human being in the future with the concept, capability, and culture in the future. Thank you very much. Probably not very concerned with the energy transition, but I think that to provide human resource to the new world, it's one of the foundation for climate action in the future as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Support. We have time for one question? Or maybe two.
Only one question. Prof, thank you very much for your presentation about AI, which plays very important role, and especially for the future also plays more in the future. But my specific question is, because we are in the seminar of the gap in Thailand's energy and structure, yes. My understanding is that you're trying to link this AI with this issue and how AI is going to fill this gap. If so, if I am right, how do you think AI will help to fill this gap?
Yeah.
Yep, thank you.
AI will definitely help, right? Right now, not if we're talking about generative AI, it's probably not that sense, right? But using predictive AI, we have for example, if you want to have the smart energy, smart grid for using renewable energy, right? In order to balance the load of the electricity from renewable energy, from several kinds of renewable energy, from conventional energy electrification, you need. Right now, if you're using conventional way of programming or software controlling, it's very not efficient. So right now we have software for AI controlling. At our faculty, we have the so-called Gravett Square that we how to say we trying using the AI to control all the to balance the load from renewable energy from battery, and even that we using we have a water resource engineering who doing a lot. They can calculate, they can predict what today how many sunlight will coming, how many wind we didn't have wind, right? But anyway, AI will help balancing the smart grid. This is one example of how AI can help balancing the load of electricity as well. Right? So they have a lot of application, and I think that with this application, the application of AI, they can help at least right now, right, balance the we call the edge, EDG, the edge electricity computation, right? That one example. The second example is, right now we at Thai Oil Public Company, they're using, in the past they're doing the linear programming, right? For if they have one, they have procure one heavy oil, they have to doing a lot of linear programming in order to find out what the best composition from refinery, right? They just start using AI to help them in doing that optimization instead of doing that very tedious linear programming, right? They can do it much faster, right? And they can have a combination of several heavy crude that coming to the company, right? So that's some application, right? And it can, if going to the topic, how can it reduce the gap, right? If talking about electricity, it's very clear that they can help balancing the weight from renewable energy, from energy storage, and also from the electricity generation. They can help the electricity generator company. At least they know when to start their engine. Right? If today the sunlight will gone, what time they should start their turbine in order to compensate for the reduction of renewable energy. So, right. Or even energy trading and several things, right? Okay, thank you.
Right. So I guess we move on to the next speakers. Let's give a round of applause to Professor Support. Are you still awake? All right, good. So after the last session, we heard about the education and AI and also the energy transition. Next, let me give a bit of the background. So this morning we had a student workshop, and one of the questions one of the gap that student has identified is, if I want to do a startup regarding energy to help with the energy transition, one of the main thing is they can't get the finance. It's really hard to get the funding, and I think this is very important in order to move forward, because we have the big company that has all this investment that is locked in, and they can't move very fast. But then the startup, they can't find the funding. So the financial instrument is very important, and today we have a pleasure of Dr. Vishai Narongwanit from the first Senior Vice President of K-Bank, the leading bank of Thailand. Please give a louder applause, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I would like to to thank Chulalongkorn Engineering School to invite us to present for this session. Okay, you give a very tough question at the beginning. I'm not sure I can answer that question, but for that question, I think it's going to relate back to the presentation of the first speaker, that for financial institution, it depends on what kind of risk and return that you're going to get. For startup, maybe for a commercial bank like us, maybe not a good place to get the funding for the startup if we talk about a very large startup. But for a small one, we set up some kind of capital to invest in that. We call Beacon Venture. If you have those kind of interesting idea, especially that related to the impact on the environmental, we think we have some funding to provide for a good business. Okay. But for today's talk, for financial institution, you might think, what is the energy transition will come into the challenge for us to do the net zero. Okay, and this is the main topic of today. But first of all, let me introduce a little bit on the K-Bank or Kasikorn Bank. Basically, we are one of the largest bank in Thailand, and our color is green. So we are very fit with the going to sustainability and environmental. Okay. And all we know that we are in the new world, new game, and it's called global climate game. So basically, recently we know that a certain part of the world asked the other countries who would like to import goods to their territory to pay tax based on the carbon that generated outside their territory. And it's going to happen in the United States and also in China. So this is a big thing for us, and we need to address that to be able to play this game, play this global game. So for us, as a financial institution, our main function is try to support our economy, and especially during this time, we try to support our society to move toward a lower carbon economy. So we need to understand the impact, the footprint of our business in terms of the carbon. Basically, we need to understand what our own operation carbon emission that we have. And let's say if we give the number as X, and you know what, for our own operation, for the bank like us, it's similar to running this facility. If you use light, if you use air conditioning, you use electricity, it's converted into our scope 2 in terms of the electricity that we use and carbon certainly. But you know what, for us, if we give a loan to our customer who emit carbon, based on the international accounting, carbon accounting, we need to count back the emission from our customer back to our book as well. And this called finance emission. And as we show in this page, the finance emission is very large relative to our own operation. Based on our information at the moment, it's around 480 times of the own operation. And if we would like to be net zero, we not only to just claim that we're going to be net zero on our own operation, we need to claim that we be net zero on the finance portfolio as well. And this is a big challenge. So in terms of to becoming bank of sustainability, our 3 main things that we need to do. First thing is try to foster the transition by providing green financing to the project, to the customer who would like to greening their operations. The second thing is that we need to do cleaning ourselves as well. Meaning that for the own operation, we try to reduce greenhouse gas emission. And also, we need to go beyond just the financial service. We need to provide the other beyond banking services, because for the moving toward a lower carbon economy, we need knowledge, we need to have awareness, we need some tools similar to the first speaker, like the carbon accounting tools, advisory. And also, in the end, if they know what they need to do, we're going to provide financing to them. Okay. And toward the end of 2021, we make commitment to become net zero, follow the Paris Agreement. We're going to be net zero on our own operation by 2030. And also, we're going to be net zero on our finance portfolio in line with Thailand aspiration, which is net zero by 2065. And also, we're going to earmark our funding to provide to the customer who would like to greening their operations around 100 to 200 billion baht by 2030. So, and as you can see, for our own operation, a big part of our emission is coming from scope 2. For the overall own operation, at the moment, is around 80,000 tons carbon. Around nearly 80% is coming from scope 2. It's related to the energy. But for this issue, for us, it's rather easy to help reduce the emission, either by installing the solar roof in our main building, and we're going to expand it to other brick branches that worth putting the solar panel into the branch. And also we try to converting our car from ICE to the EV. And I also already received that EV car 6 months ago and got some pain of using that. Okay. But by the way, for the own operation, is rather easy. Money can help. I would say money can help. The more difficult part is on the finance portfolio. So what we did in the finance portfolio is that we try to measure the finance portfolio and try to prioritize which sector that's going to cause the significant or material emission to our finance portfolio. And based on our calculation, we try to put it into 4 waves. The first wave is basically on the energy. And we try to put focus on how to reduce emission from the energy sector of our loan portfolio. And this energy transition come into play. We have been taught by our previous CEO, Kun Bantun Lamsam, that if you want to address any issue, you need to start with mathematics. So we need to try to find what would be the target emission or emission intensity that we need to reduce by sectors. So the concept that we use is try to find the sectoral decarbonization pathway. By the way, in this for this presentation, first thing we need to have what kind of reference scenario or what would be the acceptable target that we going to be able to claim that we going to be in line with Thailand aspiration net zero 2065. That is the beginning, which for the first speaker has already mentioned about the IEA as a reference scenario. But the problem for us is that we we don't have the IEA for, let's say, for the power utility specifically for Thailand. And we not be able to use, just grab at the regional or the global scenario for Thailand, and I'm going to show you later on. This is the first part. The second part is that we need to measure ourselves to understand what would be our baseline emission for a certain sector. Then based on our profile of the lending that move forward, we're going to see what would be the momentum pathway of our loan portfolio, what would be the emission that's going to be in the future. And then once we have the momentum pathway and the gap between the momentum pathway with the reference scenario, we try to find the dotted line that define what would be our glide path of the emission intensity based on our sector strategy to work with our customers. Okay. And like I mentioned, the key thing is that we cannot find the reference scenario for Thailand. And for this picture, I would like to show you that the profile of the energy mix for each country in our region is not similar. And for example, for the orange color represent the power mix of the coal. As you can see in the Asian Pacific, use a lot of coal. But for Thailand, we use a lot of natural gas in blue. So we just cannot pick the reference scenario from the Asian Pacific or Southeast Asia to be for our countries. So what we need to do is to somehow find a way to downscale the reference scenario from the IEA to Thailand. Okay. And based on that information, what we found is that the green portion of our energy mix will become green around 40% by 2030 and around 92% for 2050. And like I mentioned, this is based on what we call SDS or Sustainable Development Scenario, which align with well below 2 degrees, which we believe that is closely fit with the Thailand aspiration net zero 2065. And also based on that, the green to gas financing ratio is, if we measure from 2030 to 2050, is going to increase 15 times. Okay. So what would be the key challenge to set up our own decarbonization pathway if we use that reference scenario? The first thing is that, by the way, we are a big bank in Thailand. We need to support our economy. And the economy certainly need to rely on the electricity. So we need to be able to claim that we're going to align with the Thailand plans. Because in terms of the plan, it's not only have just one thing on the sustainability. They have energy trilemma in terms of the securities, in terms of the sustainability, and also in terms of the affordability to our people. So if we move too fast, maybe it's going to impact for the society. The second thing is that it's going to depend on the availability of the green financing opportunity based on the new plan and based on the information that I showed you earlier. If we would like to move down to the decarbonization pathway, that we believe that is going to fit with a Thailand aspiration and fit with a Paris Agreement, we need a big opportunity, existing opportunity, and new opportunity for the green. Because as you might know in Thailand, you need some concession or license to be able to produce electricity. And if the government not provide enough green concession, we not be able to achieve that. The third thing is that the possibility of what I call unintended concentration risk from the bank. If we choose to continue to financing gas-fired power plant as we do, the reason is that, let me show you this. Suppose this is in the end, this is our target. Okay, and as you can see, we're going to gradually reduce our emission intensity for the power utility at the beginning, and we're going to move down faster toward the end. Okay. Let's say that if we still to continue to finance the gas at the moment, and as you all know, for financing the gas-fired power plant is going to be with us for more than a decade. Okay. If we enjoy short-term benefit by financing the gas-fired power plant, in the end, let's say for 2035, if you would like to move the emission intensity down, it's meaning that you need to have even higher portion of the green financing to weighted average the emission intensity down. Okay, and this is why we call it's going to create the unintended concentration risk. Okay, and based on our calculation, if we still continue to finance the gas-fired power plant as we do, and to achieve the target decarbonization pathway, at a certain point in time, we need to have maybe 40% or up to 80% of market share for the green financing, which is impossible. Okay. And the last thing is that we need to balance and try to minimize the transition risk, because we all know that the stricter regulation is going to coming from all over the place. Gas-fired power plant, if we still lending and provide a very long-term financing, at one point in time, that plant going to be stranded, and the expected loss going to be higher. And based on our estimation, if we still lending to a gas-fired power plant for a longer time, maybe the expected loss may be increased by 8 times relative to the current estimation that we have. These are 4 things we take into consideration, and this is the outcome of our own power utility decarbonization pathway that we use. We have been using this for a couple of years, and the performance at the moment, we did a little bit better than what we planned. And another challenge, and going to be a big challenge for us, is to how to engage with our customer to move with us. Because for some of our customer, they're fully aware and they would like to move. It's going to be on your right-hand side, but there would be a certain customer group who may be not taking this issue seriously, but they're still in our portfolio. How could we work with them to shift from the left-hand side to the right-hand side? This is one of the key things, and this thing is the customer transition engagement. This is a key thing. We would like to help our customer to transition, and certainly, like the first speaker said, they have 8 steps, and also Creagy is also our partner to help our customer to do the transition. And so far, in terms of the amount of money that we help to customer transition, so far for 2 years that we have set the target, we above the target for the last 2 years, and we believe that we're going to hit the middle point, 100 billion baht, by the end of this year. By the way, for the energy sector, we try to provide some way for our customer who would like to move into this energy transition by providing, first thing is the app called WhatsApp. So basically, it's an application that let the rider who previously used the ICE motor vehicle to switch to the EV bike, okay, whereby we provide them the platform so that they can lease the EV bike cheaper than what they pay for the leasing for the ICE, and also provide the battery swapping station for them to use during the day. So they don't need to just go back to home using the EV and then charging for several hours. It's going to disrupt their regular way of work. The second thing is we try to come up with an application to do the energy exchange under the sandbox of the government. And also another thing that we try to let the customer who have the solar panel to be able to register REC. So basically, it's, you can consider it as a carbon credit from using the renewable energy with no cost. And we just launched this application internally within KBank today, and look forward to expand this service to a wider audience. Okay. And for us, the role of KBank, not only for us and our customer, we also help Thai Banking Association. We are lead in the sustainability track for Thai Banking Association and come up with the relevant rule and regulation that are practical for us to move forward in terms of the green, sustainable, and transition for our society. And this is the end of my talk. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Any questions from the audience?
Thank you. Hello, good afternoon, Dr. Vijay. I'm Ira Gupta. I work for a British consulting firm, and we advise investors on energy and transport projects. So my question was related also to the first presentation. With the Climate Change Act that is coming, will it get easier for KBank to provide more suitable loans? And also, would KBank be part of any future climate fund that comes up for Thailand?
Certainly, this I think for the Climate Change Act, this would certainly help, especially on the client transition engagement, because previously, what we have issue, not I have to say that it's not just only for the power utility, for the other sector, especially for the smaller group of customers, they have no reason to move. But if the Climate Change Act got enforced for the certain group that appropriate at the beginning, we believe that it's going to help speed up the adoption for them. Otherwise, some way, somehow, they need to have a certain kind of tax or any other payment that they need to provide to the government. But for us, in our way of thinking, we believe that to finance this transition is going to have a collaboration, not only from the private sector, it needs to get from the public sector as well. And for a certain kind of technology or sectors, maybe we need a certain collaboration or blended financing, so that it's going to get going. Otherwise, for us as a commercial banks, for a certain kind of transaction, we cannot take the risk return of that kind of transaction, because for us, we have another responsibility to our depositors. Thank you.
Any more questions from the audience? We want final.
Hello, very nice presentation. So I just have some small question, like for the banking system of Thailand, like SCB and BBL also, they follow the green finance rule as well that move forward the decarbonization of Thailand.
Okay, I would say that for large bank in Thailand, or what we call DSIP, domestic systemically important financial institution, all take this thing seriously, especially during the last 2 years. One of the reason is that Bank of Thailand issued green directional paper. Bank of Thailand issued a green directional paper, and Kasikorn Bank and Bank of Ayutthaya is the leader in terms of trying to find a common understanding between Bank of Thailand and member banks among Thai Bankers Association, and come up with what we call industry handbook. So we describe what would be the sustainability and green issue that we need to address, from governance, from the strategy, from the risk management and disclosure. So I have to say that for the big bank now take this thing seriously, and I would say everyone competing with each other to be the best in Thailand. Yep.
Probably similar to the just a question. Are there compulsory that you have to consolidate the carbon from your clients? Is it the law of the Bank of Thailand, and how many portion that you have to consolidate to the bank?
It's not the law at the moment, but based on the several framework like TCFD, CDP, those kind of things, is even though it's voluntary, but it's voluntary that become mandatory, because our investor asks us about this kind of information, and it will become mandatory based on the industry handbook that each bank needs to publish disclose their information about the carbon accounting, including the finance portfolio. So it will become mandatory. But previously, what we, at least for K-Bank, we done it voluntarily.
And the proportion, for example, one client might have several bank, right? Mm-hmm. Probably the portion that K-Bank take, mm-hmm. And how could you identify that portion?
So based on the carbon accounting, in the concept, if the customer emit 100 units of carbon, if Bank A finance maybe 20% of the overall financing structure, that bank take 20% of the carbon to their book. Basically, this is the concept. Either you provide the lending or you provide with the equity.
If the client can reduce probably 40%, then as a bank probably take the rest, right?
Take the
because you consolidate 20%, right? But mm-hmm. The rest is good for the world.
Certainly, certainly. Yes, please.
What is the lending rate for biomass power plant, 8 megawatt, 20-year PPA? The lending rate.
Oh, I'm sorry. I would say that I cannot answer you immediately, but I have to say that not only for the project, it depends on the credit worthiness of the supporter of the project as well.
So what is the debt to equity ratios? If the project owner can provide 30% of the equity.
Based on our credit policy, the maximum that we can go is debt to equity is 3 times. That is maximum.
3 times of the equity.
Based on our credit policy. But like I mentioned, it depends on the credit quality of the supporter as well. It might be lower if the credit quality of the supporter lower.
If you want one more. Okay. 2 more, please.
Yeah, I would like to comment and also ask question about the name of your bank. For the foreigner, maybe K-Bank is Thai Farmer Banks. And we have like other bank like Siam Commercial Bank, SCB Bank. But I wonder why K-Bank take the leader role in terms of green finance, because of your bank is more mission. The mission is more to the green thing, agriculture, farmers. And why you said there are 2 in the competitiveness area, like another one is Ayutthaya.
Okay.
That's what I've never realized that.
Okay, so this is a very good question, and this is the reason why we changed our name from Thai Farmer Bank to K-Bank. Okay, because our main business is not focused mainly on lending to agriculture sectors, and that is the key reason why we changed to Kasikorn Bank, not Thai Farmer Bank. And later we changed it to K-Bank. Okay, but in terms of the taking leadership in terms of the sustainability, I would give the credit to our previous CEO, Kun Bantun Lamsam. I believe that not only what he talked, and we need to take a look what he has done so far. So in terms of sustainability, especially recently on the NAN project, is his personal interest into pushing toward those kind of very difficult, I have to say that is very, very difficult project to take on. And I believe that that is the reason why it is ingrained into our DNA. Bank of Ayutthaya. So in Thai Banker Association for maybe 3 years ago, they have strategic project. They have 5 strategic projects. One of that is in the sustainability, and the other bank take the other project. But I don't know why Bank of Ayutthaya choose to be co-lead in this project. But from what I understand, K-Bank would like to take a lead in this sustainability track.
One last question, please. Very quick one.
Okay, thank you very much for interesting topics. Money matters. Well, my name is Nat from Energy Laboratory of Asia, and I think beside of the financial support, I saw one of the collaboration between K-Bank and EGAT, and it's the project that is about energy trading. I'm not sure that this is how to say in Thailand. energy trading it seems like struggling, not much get more progress. But you have already, is this already launched?
No. This is the initiative that we have been working with EGAT for over a year, and hopefully we're going to get this app launched by the end of this year.
Just for P2P, not for...
under a certain sandbox, very small one. Okay.
Maybe if you have time, I would like to ask more questions, but to save other audience.
Thank you.
All right. Once again, please give a lot of applause to our speakers. Dr. Vichai, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right. I wish we have more time to look at the energy gap in, from different perspectives. Right now today we got to hear from 4 different leading experts in 4 different fields. And yeah, we are really grateful for that. And yeah, on behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to thank all the speakers for coming today. And again, would like to thank everybody who joined us in this session. One quick note from the organizers. So we have another session related to Chulalongkorn University at 5:05 at the Strategic Summit, FEA Strategic Summit. So that one, Professor Supot will give opening remarks, and also we will talk about the CBAM for Asia. So if you're interested, please visit the summit downstairs. All right, thank you very much.ขอบคุณมากขอบคุณมากไม่เป็นไรครับไม่เป็นไรครับเยี่ยม